Windsor Airport this afternoon, and he traveled to Suffolk Community College for a speech before an audience filled with law enforcement. CBS 2's Carolyn Gussoff standing by now. We begin with CBS 2's Tony Aiello, though, live on the campus in Brentwood. Tony?
Christine, we know that President Trump was working on very little sleep. He was up at 2:30 this morning tweeting about the health care loss in the Senate. But his visit to Suffolk County, which he carried in 2016, and his speech to a supportive crowd of law enforcement officers seemed to energize him. He called MS-13 gang members, quote, thugs and animals, and vowed to eradicate the gang.
Since January 16, think of this. MS-13 gang members have brutally murdered 17 beautiful young lives in this area on Long Island alone. Think of it. They butchered those little girls.
The president spoke of the beatings and machete attacks suffered by Kayla Cuevas and Nisa Mickens last September. Kayla's mother was at the speech and told me the words were difficult to hear, but necessary.
It was rough. It's rough, but it's real. And this is what's happening. And I'm glad that he does recognize that.
The president praised law enforcement for its focus on the gang violence and urged Congress to approve several measures. Hire an additional 10,000 immigration enforcement agents and hundreds of additional immigration court prosecutors and judges. He also promised to stem the flow of unaccompanied minors entering the U.S. illegally. They provide a tempting target for MS-13 recruiters and a source of presidential criticism for his immediate predecessor.
Failure to enforce our immigration laws had predictable results: drugs, gangs, and violence. But that's all changing now.
Law enforcement officers reacted with gusto, the president telling them they do rough work and he didn't mind when they acted roughly, especially when putting suspects in a police cruiser.
Like when you guys put somebody in the car and you're protecting their head, you know, the way you put their hand over, like, don't hit their head, and they've just killed somebody, don't hit their head. I said, you can take the hand away, okay?
Police officers laughed and cheered.
I think they realized that that was unjust. They know what our rules and procedures are, and we would not accept that.
The president also seemed to poke at a certain big city mayor.
I've met police that are great police that aren't allowed to do their job because they have a pathetic mayor, or a mayor doesn't know what's going on. But yeah. Were you applauding for someone in particular? It's sad. It's sad.
Mayor de Blasio certainly took it personally. His campaign sending out this email saying the president is taking aim at the mayor and asking for online campaign donations of $3 or more. The mayor's email defended his record on fighting crime and called the president's speech, quote, rambling and incoherent. But congressional Republicans who traveled with Mr. Trump, including Lee Zeldin from the 1st District here in Suffolk County, said they had nothing but praise for the president's promise to eradicate MS-13 and to make that a top priority. Live in Brentwood, Long Island, Tony Aiello, CBS 2 News. Okay.